Hello, ladies and gentlemen, adventurers of all ages. I'm waiting for Dungeon Master Joseph to come on the stream. Today we're going to be talking about Dungeons & Dragons 1977, D&D 2014, and the game Mothership. This is going to be happening at the Long Island Tabletop. Let's put that information up for you guys. I'll be vending at Long Island Tabletop, be selling some miniatures, some dice, some Dungeons & Dragons items, and I'll be running Call of Cthulhu. This channel will focus on Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, or 5.5, whatever you want to call it. But we will be running Cthulhu at this particular one. But I did want to jump on here and hopefully speak to Dungeon Master Joseph about his game. So we're just waiting to see if he can get online here. Now we have somebody here. We have Joseph K.
Hello.
Joe, can you hear me okay?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. Thank you for jumping on this morning to talk about D&D 1977 first edition rules.
Yep.
2014, right? You're going to run that, and Mothership.
I'm running 3 games. 2014, as you said, 5e. Is it ever really just one rules? Mothership and the Holmes rules from 1977, the cool one with the 2 guys going in on the Red Dragon.
Why did I call it? I was looking it up. I had first edition and the second edition basic. But why is it called Holmes rules? I didn't understand that part of it.
He's the one that basically edited it and helped write it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. We have. Let me see if I can just share this.
And then I think the next ones were called the Moldvay rules when they went to beginner and expert.
Okay, I'm see if I can pull this up 1 second here. I have the let's see, we have the Holmes rules. I downloaded the PDF here. Going to the top, we have the old school picture.
Yep.
That's the one. So First question: when did you start playing D&D?
So technically, well, kind of technically on a technicality, I think in 1974. So
Okay.
I was 5 years old. I was at my cousin's house. My cousin had it, and I was like, "Ooh, I saw dragons!" Right? Big
Nice,
fan of,
nice.
of fantasy, and he basically ran me through. Basic. When he told me how to play it, he was doing a basic game, basic playthrough, right? So
Hmm.
you're this, what would you be? Would you be a wizard, a thief, or a fighter? And and then it was kind of like off the cuff, but we basically played like a 20-minute, just this is how you do it. And I was and then it kind of went away. And then one day my brother said, "Oh, we're gonna play." I got the new game, and I
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
"Okay." And we sat down at the dining room table, and he pulled this game out. And ever since in 1977, when I was 8 years old, I've played. I had a long break for a while.
Okay.
And then a few years ago, my brother's friend was like, he wants to know, he needs a couple players. Do you want to play? I'm like, I'm down with playing again.
Nice, nice,
And
nice.
then I've gone full, shall we say, back into it full force again.
Yeah, I had a bit of a break too in between. I played from age like 11 to 20, 21, and life gets in the way. And
Yes.
maybe about 8 years ago, we got back into it. So any other games besides D&D? I do some Cthulhu, and really open to any role-playing game. We're doing some Dresden Files, but D&D is like the one true love. We always come back
Yeah,
to it. Everybody loves the system.
exactly. The only thing I've had any time to play, and I haven't even played that much, but I love the game, is Mothership.
Yeah, yeah. So I pulled that info up too. Let's see here. I'll share a screen for the mothership. I don't know much about that. I do want to talk about D&D, but does this look right? Does this image here look
Yes,
right?
that's it. That's the kit. That's the set.
So what? So you're going to be running this at Long Island Tabletop.
Yes,
So
Saturday night.
what's Mothership about?
It's a sci-fi horror,
Okay.
kind of like Alien, or what's the other one? Event Horizon, The Thing,
Hmm. Hmm.
things like that.
Uh,
So basically,
you have pre-made characters for that, basically.
no, you can
In
do
the
pre-made,
basic
but
set.
it literally takes 10 minutes to create a character. Everything does, you get the player sheet, it's flow charted, and you walk through. You can be a Marine, a Teamster, a scientist,
Nice.
or an android. And then each one has different rules. If you get, and what it does is you have hit points,
Hmm.
but you also have wounds. So every time you run out of hit points, you get
Yeah.
a wound, and a wound could be everything from a severe scar to basically dead instantly.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
and then you roll on wound tables, and the whole thing builds up as you build up stress. And as you build up stress, you get points where you can panic or lose your sanity, and different things happen there as well.
Nice, nice.
So
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. I didn't know about that one. My friend Dungeon Master Dave, Dungeon Master Evanson, he's our D&D Dungeon Master, but he's jumped into a lot of different games too. He recently played the actual Aliens game, and you basically have a card that says what your character's motivation is. And it's almost like Paranoia. You have like a secret kind of motivation to win the game.
yeah, some people
Dead of
play that
Winter.
with this. Yeah.
Yeah. But let's get back to the D&D then. So D&D 1977. What scenario are you going to run without giving away secrets of really what the
So
mission is?
I had this came to me not in a dream, but all of a sudden, for some reason, we used to play, and my brother used to be the DM quite a bit. I DM mostly when I played with just my friends, but when we had the big group, and we used to play all summer and stuff like that, my brother ran it, and he created what we called the Purple Dungeons. He
Okay.
created. So um, he's actually still has them, and he gave me the book that has them all.
Okay.
So I've created a dungeon based on those, because actually they're a little bit more advanced D&D, and a little bit, shall we say, nasty for first level characters.
Oh yeah, definitely. So are the characters in the game you're running all going to be first level or 1 to
Yeah,
3?
we're gonna run first level. Might make the decision when we're there. Do you want to play first, second, or third? Because the home rules basically go up to third. We
Yeah.
can basically change it up.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, because on the fly, it's easy enough to adjust anything. So it's up to who the players are. So it seems like there's some interest because it's already technically full.
Oh wow, cool. So it's always nice when we sell at a game and you have a full table.
Yeah,
You doing six?
we're
I think
doing
table?
5. I might
5.
squeeze in a 6th.
Okay.
I didn't see anybody wait list, but
Yep. Yep.
I like to leave that option.
Yeah. So I was looking at some of my old books. I did a little video about my old D&D
Yep,
books.
I think I saw that one. Yeah.
Oh, awesome! Thank you, Joe. So that one, I was actually looking through the old player's handbook. No, sorry, the old monster manual, and just for fun, I was reading some of the monsters, and the carrion crawler came up, and first edition carrion crawler, like 8 attacks, and like each one could paralyze you.
Yeah.
I mean, so what major differences do you see between like first edition and like 2014 or 2024? Because I feel like the monsters are still powerful, but back then it was just brutal. It just seemed like just unfair.
Yeah. The one thing that's really funny is I don't think I've ever lost the character. I've come really close, and I've done it with people who did. I don't know how that's ever happened. I might have lost. I might have lost the first level character, but I don't think so. I still have all my characters that I've ever played.
Oh, okay.
It's not that many. Actually, I had one that made the 21st level, which is unbelievable. And he only had one magic item, which he paid for.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah. So
I don't know how he got there, but the difference is, it's the humans are the ones that have a class.
Yeah.
Dwarfs, halflings, and elves don't have a class.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Dwarves and halflings can actually be thieves, but they're not magic users. You have human magic users and you have elves. Elves are basically a fighter magic user. It's like the first
it's just
dual
built
class. Yeah.
It's just built in. That's just what you are, right? It was very very
and
racial, very species oriented.
Yes, and you roll 3d6.
Yep.
And that's it. You roll them in order. So and you get bonuses for Constitution to your hit points, and you get bonuses to hit with missile attacks. So like slings, arrows, spear, anything thrown for dexterity, and that's it. The only other reason you would want, because everything's up to the dungeon master, right? So if you have a low strength, they're going to say you can't do that. Or also, if you're a fighter, since your main stat is strength, you get more experience points.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny you say that. We were just playing 2024, and I feel like the stats themselves affect the saving throws and skills, but you actually don't use the stats for too much. It's not like, I have a strength 15 means I can bust out a door. It's usually a save or some type of roll. But we were playing, and we went into we fought some harpies, and there was some mud. And the game master for that actually said, okay, if you roll your dex are under, you escape it. So it was a nice way to use the stat without making it a saving throw or something like that. It felt like, I have a high dex. If I roll low, and a lot of our players sometimes just roll horribly, so it was good for them. They were. That's
funny because in Mothership, going back to that quick, everything is, for the most part, almost all the rolls, because there's only 3 there's percentile dice, basically, and a 20-sided just for panic checks, right? So, but you have to roll under, not equal to or under, just under.
Okay.
So
okay.
It makes it really tough. You're looking for low.
You're looking for low, yeah. But like I said, some of our players they just happen to roll. They always roll low, like they roll horribly. So low would be good for them once in a while.
Well, that's why you have 500 sets of dice. You can always try a new one.
Exactly. You put them in jail. You throw them in the toilet.
No, I almost would never throw out dice.
Really? You got to keep them, especially the old ones with the crayons. You used to have to put the crayon.
I still have like less than 5 feet away from me my original polyhedrals that are like basically round at this point.
That's funny. That's funny. So what do you see? Actually, before I go to that, first edition THACO system to hit armor class 0. Is that in effect the way to hit?
There's a whole chart, and
there's a THACO chart, right?
Yeah, and it's funny because when I got back into playing, I was like rolling, going, okay, what? Wait, their armor class is terrible. At first, it wasn't clicking on me that their armor class was terrible, because it's like, oh, they have a 13 armor class. I'm like, that's horrible. How do they have that? And I'm like, oh, right, because they switched it.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
back then, armor class of, you wanted the lower armor class.
Yeah. So on here, I have it up on the screen. So 9 is no armor. 8 is the +1 shield and leather chain. Yeah, I mean, it's got a reverse system. I remember back then being able to calculate in my head fast and know exactly. Now I just shake my head. I'm like, well, what do I need? It's easier the other way to kind of count up instead of count reverse.
Right.
So what do you see the biggest differences between the original and 2014? What do you like the best? Because you're running both. What do you think about the 2014 edition?
20, I think if the 2014, I like the way you have a number to hit. You know what the armor class is, you just have to beat it. It makes it a little easier than looking at a chart. After a while, you got used to the chart. I'm trying to. It's a little more rigid, and it's the newer players have a higher life expectancy, shall we say?
Yeah.
So I think it's a little bit more rigid, and for learning the game, it's a little bit more laid out, so it's a little easier to learn the game. There's a lot more rules, but you don't need it. People need to take into account as the Dungeon Master's guide is a guide. It's not.
Yeah. I think people forget that it is a guide, and honestly, there's some hate online going about, the 2014, the 2024 edition. You do whatever you want. You don't like a rule, you leave it out. Or somebody says, I want to do this, and you say, oh yeah, what's your strength? Even though that's not a rule as we've been doing it, you can say, oh yeah, that's high enough strength. Yeah, it succeeds. You break down the door. You don't need to roll for that. You got an 18 strength. You're a big Goliath of a guy. You knock the door down. Why roll for that? You're telling a story. And speaking of storytelling, how involved do you let the players get with the story? So a lot of times they'll say, oh, how do you want to do this? How do you kill them? But also, if there's a scene, how much do you let them get involved or change the story? They say, oh, I happen to have, something in my bag, even maybe it's not on the list, but that's something maybe you would carry. So yeah, you have it and you can use it.
If it works, it works. I'm not, I know I've seen people like all of a sudden, oh yeah, I have a +5 dagger I'm going to use. No, you don't have that. I know people who at first level had said they had, like Holy Avenger and, +5 armor or whatever. I'm like, no.
Yeah, exactly.
If it works in the story, and I try to let people be however they want to play. Some people really like to get into it. I try to play up with that. If some people are more quiet and reserved, try to pull them out a little bit and get them involved. But if they don't want to, I don't push.
So I was reading, you actually sent it to me this morning. I had a quick chance to take a look at it, the wantmoredice.com. Looks like you have a blog up there.
It's
and but I was just taking a quick look, and you had the 2014 you had the 2014 kind of review last year, and you talked about some of your games. And it looks like I saw something about people playing otters and lizard people. Was that?
Yes. So the game so the Bartlesby family that's listed is actually based on characters that we have in a current campaign, and one of my personal characters. It's a family of otter folk.
Okay, cool.
Everybody thinks it's always cute, it's whatever. The original character, his name is Spruce.
Okay.
And people played that. I had the two characters, the cleric whose name is Sunbeam, and Spruce. Their name's Bartlesby. Everybody loved the characters, and they fought over them at the table. So I said, okay, I'm going to expand this for next year.
Yeah.
And somebody said, I said, so why did you? They go, it's otters, idiot. Literally, they go, it's otters, idiot. Who wouldn't take them?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to play? So it's like, oh, okay, because I thought it was cool. So we play in a world that I create called Puddle Pond. We call it Puddle Pond. That's the main town. That's where everything started. That's where and that's where all the characters come together. There's different characters. And when I rolled up the characters for last year, I did a bunch. I did the otter folk, I did humans, I did a little of everything. I did some lizard folk, I did dwarves, I went almost to excess to have any
Yeah.
kind of character somebody would want to pre-done and ready to go. So I had a stack for each game like this of player character sheets. So
nice.
And I had miniatures for all of them, and people could pick their miniature, and I let everybody take their miniatures home and whatever if they want. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That
Come
sounds
to the
really
table and I give you something because I do props. You get to keep the prop.
Nice. Yeah, I'm actually running Call of Cthulhu. I'm going to switch next year just to pure D&D. Last year I did D&D. I did the Daggerdale Food Festival where a magical burst turned all the food into monsters. I actually had the miniatures for them.
I saw those.
They were fun. But now we have got a vendor. We have a 3D we 3D print stuff. So I think next year if I do it, I'll give everybody, they can take home a little cake monster, something like that. That would definitely be fun because it's easy. Cool. It's easy to print. So with this set though, there were humans. It wasn't just all. It wasn't just all animals.
It's not really Fae. It's just it's just a fantasy world, right?
Yeah.
So I grew up watching Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, Jason and the Argonauts, all the old fantasy, Hawk the Slayer, everything.
Yeah.
So the original Clash of the Titans. I was into Greek and Norse mythology, all of that stuff. Yeah. So it's a culmination of everything. It's just like it just works, right?
Yeah.
So why not? It's fantasy. It's magic. Don't try to always explain things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So last question. Do you like talking about your originals, 1977? You said you only had one magic item. That's kind of a low magic world. We just played the Curse of Strahd. I think we got 4 or 5 magic items total, maybe 6, like in 10 levels. We're now doing our own world called Erendor, and it's going to be it's a high magic world. There's magic everywhere, magic to teleport around, go to other cities, there's airships and stuff. So what kind of magic world do you like? Do you like a low, mid, high magic world? When you play or when you run?
Mine is it's there. It's not the be all and end all. It's looked at still of a little wonder. But it's there. It's not everywhere. I have had characters. I had one character who, one of my favorites. He had choice magic items because every time we did it, it was like you could choose any magic item you want. So he had the Girdle of Stormgiant Strength and Gauntlets of Ogre Power with a Frostbrand sword. And if you know anything, and he had an actual mithril shirt back in the day. If you know what that gives you back in the day, you could basically pick trees out of the ground and throw them at people, So it wasn't a lot, but it was powerful. It's because I go back to in my head, a lot of it is more of like the old Sinbad, and there was magic, but it wasn't super common, Perseus had certain things, a couple things, and he worked hard to get them, and things like that. We didn't even really have a lot. We would get a potion, and we'd be like, "Wow, that's great!" Some of the games we played, so it was few and far between. It was something to be protected and all of that. So it wasn't crazy. Now I'm a little bit more free with it, as long as you keep the balance.
Sounds good. Well, we'll see you at Long Island Tabletop. Yes. That's April 5th and 6th. The Cradle of Aviation Museum. I'll be running Call of Cthulhu and vending D&D miniatures and dice. You'll be running one game in 1977, 2 games of 2014, and 1 game of Mothership.
Yes, I'm at table 30. The game I'm not running, my daughter's actually playing the Bartlesby game, the Otter game. She's running it for younger kids, from 10 to 15 or 16. So she's doing kids for kids type thing.
That's awesome. Yeah, get the kids involved and stuff. Yeah. Oh, so last question, or another last question.
That's all right.
On Slack, I feel like I can't pull it up on Slack. I can't share that screen. But I feel like you just posted a picture of like some terrain. Was that was that for your table?
That's for the game. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it's nice to
have. That's leading up to the big bad guy thing. So basically, just quick, what the scenario is: are the campaign that we're working on finishing up. It's one of those cliche, whatever, the bad guys leading the forces of darkness, and some of the characters are involved in that. So it's a year after that, after all the carnage and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And they get together for their family reunion with all their friends and everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And things go in another direction. It's
as they often do.
Fun. Yeah. So it becomes a rescue mission, basically. So not to give anything away. So that's it.
No, that sounds good. Well, thank you for running those games. I'm sure it gives the opportunity to a lot of people who maybe can play in person. There's a lot of online stuff. So when I ran last year, all the players were very excited to sit at a table and we're talking about Cthulhu. I even had one character. So it's called the Lightless Beacon, and you have characters on a ship, and they kind of go stranded on an island, and there's some bad stuff happens. The lighthouse went out. So one of the characters is a marine biologist. Again, not Dungeons and Dragons related, but he's a marine biologist. And the guy's like, and I let everybody do like a luck roll, and the unluckiest person got the last pick. The luckiest person picked the first character because there are limited characters. And he's like, I'm the marine biologist. Oh, that sucks. I don't want to be a marine biologist. At the end of the game, he was like, that's the best character I ever played. Yeah. So if you run it right and you just enjoy yourself and dive into that character like an otter or something like that, then you can really enjoy the game, especially if there's maps and terrain and all that stuff. So
yeah, they're wise asses, most of them. It's the typical family. Spruce, the sorcerer, is modeled after Stephen from Braveheart.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
my island. It's my island. Yeah, I got
he's
you.
a little bit. He's a little nuts.
And, that's my kind of character. That's my kind of character.
So
awesome.
It's fun, and everybody's getting sheets. I have photos of all the characters. I have everybody's getting magic. I have magic items. I have, I'm working on rings and stuff. So
wow,
yeah, rings, magic necklaces. There might be a wand or two in there.
Wow, you go all in on this.
Yeah, I'm going way too far.
That's awesome. Well, as long as you enjoy it too, you get satisfaction out of bringing joy to people.
With dice in them and stuff. Everybody's getting dice. Everybody's getting dice trays. Stop by the table. I'm sure we'll meet up at the.
Yeah, I'll make sure to stop by to say hi and take some pictures and check out your awesome setup. So, well, thank you for your time on this Saturday morning and being my first Dungeon Master interview.
All right. I like to call Dungeon.
So, all right, Joseph, you have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.